very brief moment as acting chair of this committee. I tried to exercise power.
You did such a nice job. I want to thank you for that.
I just want to say Mike Lee took my without objection role in that line.
Sorry.
Yeah, come on. The partisanship on this committee is just awful. That you would undercut me like that. I would like to submit for the record that with that offense by Mike Lee, the morale on this committee has gone down considerably. But speaking of morale, Ms. Khan, can I just ask you to follow up a little bit about that? Because there are reports about staff morale going down with the FTC. Could you share your views maybe about what you've done to address it?
Yeah, I'll say up front, the staff of the FTC are enormously passionate about the agency's mission, and they fight every day against formidable obstacles to fight for the public. Of course, I take those survey results very seriously, and my team and I have been aggressively identifying what the source is and taking actions. We identified a series of ways in which we could have streamlined processes, provide better information. We've been doing so. We also had learned that uncertainty about what the future of work would be was one contributing factor, and we've provided more clarity on that too.
Great, and in fact, I think Senator Cruz generously talked about just how dedicated the agency is. There's a lot of civil servants there who've been there for decades, and I just want to know personally, what's it like to lead such a dedicated group of civil servants who've been there despite who's president of the United States or who's the leading the agency at the time?
It's a tremendous honor. As you noted, we've had dedicated career staff there for decades who've been fighting very difficult fights on behalf of the American public, sometimes taking on fights that are extremely difficult against very well-heeled opponents and adversaries, and they bring enormous passion and commitment every day.
All right. Can I ask you a question about antitrust? And again, I make the deference that of the antitrust of the Democrats sitting up here on this committee, one of us has written a very good book about antitrust issues. One of us has not and got a bad grade at Yale on antitrust law, which is very hard to do, to get a bad grade at Yale for anything. So I do, though, want to go out on a limb here and ask an antitrust decision, knowing that the professor might take issue with it. But Antitrust Division just experienced really an enforcement setback, frankly, with the U.S. District Court rejecting its challenge of United Health Group's proposed acquisition of Change Healthcare. How does this outcome affect the aggressive stance that the Antitrust Division has taken in enforcing the antitrust laws and litigating cases?
Thank you, Senator. I will field that as the head of the Antitrust Division, and I congratulate you on your momentary chairmanship.
Thank you very much. It was a big moment for a guy with as little seniority as I have in the Senate.
Let me first take a step back and put some of our track record in context here. Since I was confirmed, we've had 8 criminal guilty pleas, 4 criminal trials with guilty verdicts, and 2 criminal trial losses, both of which resulted in 6 wins on motions to dismiss that establish favorable precedents that the department is likely to cite for decades to come. On the antitrust side, we've had 3 abandoned mergers in the face of challenge, including 2 relating to the shipping industry. We've had 1 trial loss, which came down yesterday. We're still reviewing the decision and determining the appropriate next step. Obviously, the court system is structured so that if there are appeals, they can be heard in due course. Let me also say that part of the job that we have before us is to litigate cases and to take risks when it's appropriate and necessary to defend the American public, particularly in areas such as healthcare. And we are not going to back down from bringing meritorious cases and seeing them to conclusions because too much is at stake for the American public, especially in areas such as healthcare. And so we will follow the facts and the law wherever they lead, and we will bring cases without fear or favor. And I am extraordinarily proud of my team at the Antitrust Division and the efforts that they have and the commitment they've demonstrated to defending the American public.
Well, as the former chairman of this committee, I would like to say to you, it's an issue we're very passionate about in a bipartisan way, and I appreciate that leadership. I'm going to squeak one more question in based upon the latitude of the current chairwoman. Ms. Khan, in your testimony, you shared a record of 3,644 transactions that were reported to the FTC and the DOJ in just fiscal year 2021. That's 87% more than the average number of transactions reported over the past 5 years. And we're just seeing historically high levels continue into this year. And I'm wondering if you can discuss the FTC's whole of government approach to protect the American people from what I suspect it could be the threat of unlawful consolidation.
It's absolutely true. Last year was totally a blockbuster year for M&A. We saw volume off the charts. We're working very closely with our government partners, particularly when they have particular expertise in an industry. So when we were able to sue to block the Lockheed Aerojet merger in the defense industry, we worked very closely with DoD. We've entered all sorts of new partnerships and new agreements with agencies across the board, including the National Labor Relations Board, to make sure that when there are issues affecting workers, that we're totally aligned. So this is an area where we continue to deepen our partnerships because, we're just one agency and there are a whole set of agencies with tools and statutory authorities that would also enable to them to check consolidation. And I think the president's deep commitment to this whole of government approach in particular has really lent new momentum and vigor to this effort. And we're incredibly proud to be part of that.
Thank you. I just want to thank you both for your commitment and service to this country. Thank you very much. And to the chairwoman, forgive me for being so rude, but next time you leave me in charge, please give me the hammer.
Promise you that.
Thank you.
Golden gavel.
All right.
Okay.